Hello and welcome to today's live, where we're going to be focusing on improving the way that we breathe to help improve recovery. And we're talking about not after, it can be necessarily helpful after training, but we're very much talking like intra training, so like in between training sets, when you're trying to get your breathing and your recovery back. We're going to go through a little bit of, this is one for definitely you can follow along. We're going to make ourselves want to get a little bit out of breath with a little bit of exercise and a very simple breath hold. And then we're going to use the challenge of wanting to breathe faster to repay some of that oxygen debt by controlling our breathing down. So these are the things I want us to think about. Number one is, when your breathing wants to get out of control and wants to get a bit chaotic because the intensity of how we're training or whatever we've done, it is not efficient for you to be fast and panting. Two reasons. One, biomechanically, like we're just lifting the rib cage, the chest is rising, and it's just very shallow in its breath. Okay. Number two, so functionally, it's not good breathing patterns. It's not really using the diaphragm. It's this short, shallow breath from here. Number two, and it's linked to that, is that larger breaths initiated from the diaphragm that's deeper, larger breaths meaning we take less breaths per minute by slowing it down. So slower breathing, but larger proportionally, means we lose less air to dead space. So here comes the science, right? So depending on the size of the person, but average is about 150 milliliters of what we call dead space within the lungs and the airways. That's just space that cannot be utilized and taken up with air. So if you take lots, so just for example, say I take 10 breaths per minute when I'm going, well, even more than that, be like, let's say 30. 30 times 150 milliliters, whatever that is, 6 liters. Yeah, lost the dead space. My maths is correct. But basically, if I halved that and took 15 breaths per minute, but increased the size of my breath proportionally, then I'm going to halve the amount of dead space that I'm wasting. So effectively getting more air in to the lungs that's usable. The next stage is like getting air, that oxygen that's got into the lungs, getting into the blood by breathing through the nose. That helps nitric oxide that's utilized in the nose, helps distribute blood within the lungs more evenly, so we get a more efficient transfer of oxygen into the bloodstream. So slowing it down gets more in. Using the nose helps get it more efficiently into the bloodstream. And then equally, the slowing it down that the nose helps provide allows a little bit of buildup of carbon dioxide in the bloodstream. That helps hemoglobin, the oxygen carrying component of red blood cells, to release oxygen because the pH drops with a little bit of CO2 presence, and that is more helps for the efficiency of getting the last portion of the process of getting oxygen to the cells, from the blood into the cells. We need a little bit of buildup of carbon dioxide, and if we're breathing too fast, we breathe out all the carbon dioxide. What that then leaves us with is inefficiency. It leaves us with, in terms of inefficiency of getting oxygen out of blood into the cells where they're needed. Every single cell in your body needs oxygen for energy, okay? So the protocol is going to be, when your breathing wants to go out of control, and you find yourself doing that, one, close the mouth. So it starts coming in through the nose, and then it's going to be like, so number two is going to be, try to breathe calmly from the diaphragm and make those breaths longer and slower. So rather than I close the mouth, and rather than here, I'm going to try and breathe calmly, large. And then to slow it down, what can be helpful is pause at the top, pause, and then slowly out. Then next breath in, pause, slowly out. So whilst we're not out of breath and out of control of our breathing, let's just practice a few of those, okay? So thanks to those that are joining in, okay? So thinking about finding your two lower ribs, just mark on your body with your fingers, just get acquainted with where they are, rub a little bit around there just to let the brain know this is the area that we want to be using. And we want these lower ribs to open up and widen. The angle that's called the infrasternal angle, where those ribs meet the sternum. We want that to widen. We want the ribs to move out laterally, and actually we want them to move out in all directions. So as those ribs move out, it allows the diaphragm to move down. So that allows us to have that depth of breath rather than the shallow breath up here. So having those good mechanics is going to give yourself a better chance of using the diaphragm and creating these larger, slower breaths. Okay, so As we breathe in through the nose, try to breathe calmly, let the shoulders relax. We're going to take a larger breath than we need because we're practicing trying to recover. And then we're going to add in the need to actually recover. Okay, so breathe in through the nose. Feel those ribs expand. Feel comfortable, pause at the top, and then slowly out through the nose. Then breathe in through the nose, but try to be calm. We're thinking about expanding. So it's a large breath and it's slow, pause at the top. Slowly down. Do a couple more of those in your own time because I may have been going a bit too slow or a bit too fast to you. But ultimately what we're going to do then is we're going to do a couple of breath holds where at the end of the breath hold, you're going to be wanting to take breath air in quickly, be like this at the end of the breath hold, and then it's your chance to change those breathing patterns and those breathing habits that the brain has. So rather than you go into the habit of, right, when I'm out of breath, the way I get my breath back, we go like this. No, we need to train the brain to change that habit. And at the end of a breath hold is a great time to do that. But equally, anytime you're training, say you're doing like some push-up sets, like in between those sets, think about how can you change your breathing to improve your recovery. Or you're doing like sprints, intervals, any type of running, any type of cycling, any type of endurance exercise, any type of exercise. When you're trying to improve your recovery, go away from the fast, shallow breathing, go to longer, slower, deeper breathing, okay? So if you've high blood pressure, pregnant, or any serious underlying health conditions, you shouldn't be doing the breath holds. But for everyone else that feels comfortable, you can even do a couple of these exercises without the breath holds. But we'll try one walking with the breath hold, and we're going to try one with the squat. So with the breath holds, the oxygen advantage, we always go normal breath in for the nose, normal breath out for the nose, pinch the nose. And then we're gonna walk on the spot, okay, first. And I want you to keep hold of that breath until you get quite a strong need for air. So air hunger starts to build up relatively strong. And then what you're gonna do when you let go, your breathing's gonna want to go like this. And I want you to be ready mentally to change that habit and train that. So when you let go, you're gonna breathe in deeply, calmly, but it'll be challenging. Through the nose, slow, pause at the top, and then slowly out, and see how quickly we can recover that breathing like that rather than fast, shallow breaths. Okay, so let me know in the comments if you are trying this along with us and how it goes. So there's quite a few people joining now. I'm waving, say hi. We're working on our breathing to recover. Okay, so when you feel ready, normal breath in, normal breath out, pinch your nose. Then walking on the spot. You can count your steps if you want. Keep going. Obviously, you shouldn't be talking. This isn't a strict breath hold, but I can still feel it building up. When it's strong, let go. In, large breath in, slow. Pause at the top. Slowly out. Relax, feel that calmness. Next breath in. From low down, expand wide. Large, slow breath. Pause at the top. Slowly down. So 2 breaths like that for me feel like I'm almost back to normal with my breathing, just after 2. Okay. Now, once we're gonna try this with a squat. So we're going to go down into a squat. But I want you to try and I'm not going to be assessing your squat, but let's try to have good quality squat moves. Your arms can go out in front of you to work as a bit of a counterbalance. But remember, one hand is going to be holding those. So we're going to do this on a breath hold. And these will definitely, like the metabolic demand of squatting, or if you're doing lunging or anything else, like that is much higher. Your air hunger is going to build up quickly. You're going to come back up to standing. When you let go, your breath is really going to want to be out of control. You're going to be wanting to be like, I want us to get to a point with the breath hold and the squats where your breathing really wants to be quite challenged, and you train yourself to go slow, larger breaths, taking less breaths per minute. A little pause at the top can really help, and then slowly relax out to produce that parasympathetic, that calmness that we're trying to get to help with this recovery. Okay. So remember, just if you've got with the breath holding, if you've got high blood pressure, pregnant, or any serious underlying health conditions, then shouldn't be doing the breath holds. But you could do some of the movement to just we're just trying to get our breathing wanting to get a little bit out of control. But for everyone else that's fits well and healthy. We're going to go for normal breath in, normal breath out, pinch the nose, and into squats whilst holding the breath. And I want you to do, you might not do that many until your breathing really wants to feel quite strong. You're going to let go rather than going to that out of control breath. You're going to train the habit of like changing that. My brain, when it is trying to improve its recovery, is going to take larger, slower breaths in and out through the nose, like that little pause at the top, and slowly out. Okay, so when you feel ready, nice and relaxed, and then we go into our squats. Normal breath in. I'm not going to talk through this one, so it'll be a proper breath hold. Okay, smile. Smiling helps relax. When we're relaxed, don't tense up against the breath hold. You'll be able to go for a little bit longer. Normal breath in, normal breath out. Into those. Pause. Slowly out. In. Slowly. Pause. Relaxed out. Heart rate's going from deep. Pause. Slowly out. I can feel my heartbeat still going. Pause. Slowly out with the nose. I'll have one more. In long, slow. Pause and relax. So that was my 5th breath. Breathing back down. So that was quite strong, like it definitely felt up quite a strong air hunger building up. Breathing when you let go. You'll have seen my face and how I'm like trying to control that. It's being aware, it's going away and changing those habits from when I'm out of breath and trying to recover my breathing. That short, shallow breath isn't efficient. We're wasting a lot of air to dead space. It's shallow, it's not using the diaphragm. Closing the mouth, use the nose, will slow things down. Take less breaths per minute, but larger breaths proportionally. So that'll be utilizing a lower, deeper breath coming in through the nose and out through the nose. A little pause at the top, and then relaxing and slowing that breath down on the way out is going to be more efficient in terms of getting more air in that's usable, not wasting air to dead space because you're taking less breaths per minute, but you're increasing the size of the breath and it's coming from the diaphragm, a good mechanics of those ribs moving. And then with the fact that you're using your nose, we're distributing blood within the lungs more evenly because they're utilizing nitric oxide that's in the nose. That allows more efficient transfer from the lungs into the blood. And then that buildup of that carbon dioxide tolerance allows you to be more efficient of getting the oxygen from that blood into the cells where it's needed. Like the most important step, there's no point in having the blood in the lungs. There's no point in having the oxygen in the blood if you've blown off all that carbon dioxide with that fast, shallow breathing, because then that oxygen that's in the blood just stays in the blood. It won't be released because the hemoglobin will keep its affinity and its attachment to that oxygen rather than letting it go and releasing it into the cells where it's needed to replenish and produce that energy. So that's the premise. This is a fantastic way to improve your recovery into training. So when you're working on your exercise, it's one of the most difficult things to do, to apply when you're actually training. Not because it's hard, like it's a little bit challenging, but the main thing is remembering to do it. And that's where it's about changing habits. Our habit at the moment, for most of us, and I was certainly there myself, was, and still to this day, it's like, sometimes you forget or you don't notice because you're just like, you're thinking about something else and your breathing just goes a little bit out of control. So it's changing. I'm pointing out there because sometimes that's where I'm exercising. Sometimes when we're training and that we've really pushed ourselves and we've finished the exercise and we might have been trying to stay nasal breathing whilst we're training or whilst we're doing the exercise. And then when we finish, it's like we almost like relax. And then we just go back to whatever like habit we've built up over a long period of time. Whereas we want to change those habits. So rather than like this, we're going from the nose, mouth stays closed, deeper, larger breaths, slowing it down. That little pause at the top can be really helpful. Nice, relaxed and slow on the exhale. That's more efficient for improving our recovery. So remembering, like making a cue for yourself, remembering to do it in between different exercises that you're doing, or if you're doing sprints or intervals or running, whatever it is that you're doing, when you notice your breathing going out of control, like that, try to use that as the trigger. When I hear that, you should hear me going, shut your mouth. Okay, so that's what, when you hear your breath, because it'd be loud as well. When you hear your breath, that's the trigger. When you hear your breath, then you hear me going, shut your mouth. and you shut your mouth and slow down your breathing. You slow it down and you're going to start to recover better. It's one of the biggest tools that's going to help you, like, as well as trying to nasally breathe whilst you're training, but then a lot of that's dictated by the intensity of what you're doing and everything. But when the exercise stops and you've got like 2 minutes to recover between the next set you're going to do or exercise you're going to do, spend those 2 minutes wisely. Don't spend the first 30 seconds or minute of it just going like that. It's not efficient. You're not going to be recovering as quick. So thank you for watching. I hope that's been helpful. If you're joining late, it will be available on YouTube or on Instagram to watch back later. Some people just saying, just bought the Oxygen Advantage book, can't wait to read it. Yes, fastest book I've ever read. Get on board. If you've got any questions, just put them in the comments, or you can send me a DM. There is some workshops I want to let you know about coming up. Some places have already been sold. To keep the group small, there's only 6 and 8. 8 on the basics, 6 on the application and development workshops. Online, 3 weeks in a row, so 3 sessions, each an hour long. And again, there's the whole online portal where you can watch back any of the sessions on replay. You can download all of the slides from the presentations. There's MP3s to download for you to keep and listen to help you with your training practice, and support from me throughout those 3 weeks, but and also ongoing if you have any questions and working on that. So if people are interested, the link is in my profile. It's on the new Rooted Life website, so rootedlife.co.uk. You'll see the link in my profile. If you're interested in the workshops, then do let me know, and then let us know how you're getting on with the training. Oh, the other thing, there was the big night. I'm just going to answer some questions. The big nice wolf, concentrate on breathing through the nose only when out jogging. Yeah, when you're out jogging, and the big thing is, if you're not a professional athlete and you can choose to work at a lower intensity so that you can improve your breathing, to start with, like, let the nose dictate how fast you run or how fast you cycle, and work at a rate that is comfortable for you to be able to do that. And I promise you will build back up. Like, I'm now running at my 5K race pace, and I never thought I'd be able to do that. When I first tried to run 2.5, 3 years ago, just nasal breathing, it was just snot everywhere. I probably got to the end of the road, which is about 50 meters, and was like, I can't do it. And I couldn't imagine being able to go any further with it. So it does change, and the adaptations take a bit of time. But you need to let the nose dictate the intensity. So just slow things down for a few weeks, and then you're going to be able to gradually build them back up. On It's Monkey on YouTube. Thanks for the video. No, glad it's been helpful. Let us know how you're getting on with your training. And then that's what I was going to say. The nasal marathon. So I am signed up to the 16th of October in Suffolk. I'm going to put details of it. I have put some details on my stories. And some people said, it was like, yes, I will join you. If that was you, you're going to be getting a message from me soon with a, here's the link. Let's sign up. And if you raise, I think it's 500. If you raise 500 quid for charity, I think it's 50 quid to enter, entrance fee. But if you raise 500 quid for charity, I think you get a refund on that. So because of my previous head injuries, charity I've worked with before is Headway. So I'm going to be raising money for Headway as part of the nasal marathon on the beachside in Suffolk, 16th of October. So we've got loads of time to train. I did a third of a marathon last weekend, 9 miles or so. And yeah, all possible through the nose. It's most efficient. You feel better, and just let the intensity that you run at be dictated by the nose. So if you have to go a bit slow, that's fine. But what you'll notice is by the time October comes around, if you've built up slowly, you'll be like, I feel like I could run all day like this, because you're not getting, you're never letting, your breathing's never getting out of control. you're always keeping it. You're always keeping it within that intensity, so you're not actually losing. Well, the thing's going to be like whether your joints give up or not, but your breathing can be under control by working through some nasal breathing. So I'm going to put some stuff together for that, and hope, if people genuinely like, I'll come and do a marathon with you. I've never done a marathon before, something I always said I wanted to do, and when I used to play professional rugby, it was like, I can't do it because I've got rugby training. And then I finished playing. I had a head injury 8 years ago. Finished playing rugby because of that. And for the last 8 years, well, it took me a year to be able to run without getting all my headache symptoms from a head injury and my concussions. But after that year, I didn't really have an excuse as to why I wasn't going to do this thing that I said I always wanted to be able to do. Whereas now I've finally gone, that's a good point. I've got no excuses right now. So nasal marathon coming 16th of October. Join me. So if you are genuinely interested, send me a message, send me a DM, and I will on Instagram. Send me a DM, and I will. I'll share the links and the details with you. And but yeah, some of you have already commented or voted, clicked on a vote saying yes, I want to come and do the nasal marathon. So you will be getting a message from me. I won't hold you to it, but it'd be nice to have some. It'd be nice to have some company. The only thing is, when we're all nasal running, your mouth's closed, so there's not really any talking going on. There might be the odd like, how are you doing? How are you doing? You enjoying the run? So yeah, we'll have some fun before and afterwards, and then during it we'll just be like mouth shut. Yes, Craig Rouse is in. If I'm there, I'll be joining you, brother. Good man, good man, good man. I know you will. Big Nice Wolf, thanks for joining. Santi is studying Oxford Advantage. God, mate, if you've got any questions about the Oxford Advantage course, like when I first went through it, like the first time you like look at some of the information, like wow, like so I've got science, like I've got a bit of science background, engineering at university, and chemistry, A level, that sort of stuff, and really enjoyed this getting back into some of the chemistry side of it. But it's heavy. It's heavy at first, but it's the thing that attracted me to it. Patrick McKeown, we had him on our podcast with the School Calisthenics, and having read the book, I was like, flipping love this, straight up love this guy. But trying to implement the stuff without fully understanding it, I found difficult. So I wanted to do the coaching, the advanced instructor course. Not actually to necessarily become a coach initially. It was just I just wanted to understand it better for my own self, because I didn't feel like I was able to implement the exercises and change my breathing that well. And so that was a game changer. Being taught by Patrick himself and going through that was fantastic, amazing. But I would say that at the start, like some of the information is, because it's very detailed. Like Patrick is very detailed, and that's what's so great about it. And that's why when you come out of it and you've qualified. You feel very confident about the information, because you have to know it. You have to understand the science and the detail behind it to be able to pass. And then that's actually where you want to be able to help other people and teach other people with it. So don't be put off if you find it's difficult at the start. Keep with it, and I'm sure you'll love it come the end. Right, great stuff, guys and girls. Thanks very much. I'll see you all. I will talk at the aid stations. Hey, Craig, we're not stopping during the nasal marathon. The aid stations, we might do towards the end, but I'm absolutely dying. I've got no idea how hard this is going to be, really. Great. Santi's just no problem. Santi, if Santi or anyone else watching that's going through the instructor training, like if you've got any questions, if I can help in any way, just let me know. I've had a few other instructors do some of the workshops with me, because they just wanted to get a bit more practice and info, and just seeing how different people present the information as well can be helpful. So if you've got any questions, mate, just ask, and more than happy to help. All right, thank you all. I'll see you next time. Keep it nasal.